Hi everyone, SpiderMan 1991 here, and it's time to do my comic reviews for the week. The first comic review of February 2012 for the comics that came out on the 1st of February this month. Before I start, I just want to point out there was a problem with getting my comics in that one did not show up. And the one I'm referring to is Invincible number 88. I had it reserved at the shop. I asked them to hold on to a copy for me, but for some reason, whether it was Image or the distribution company or the shipping or whatever it was, it did not arrive. None of the copies of Invincible for my comic shop arrived this week. I don't know, but they said that it might come next week, so I'm really hoping it comes soon so I can get caught up with Invincible. I mean, if it doesn't come next week, then chances are I won't do a review on it because it'll be so late. But if it comes next week, I'll review it. But if not, then there's a good chance that I won't because it won't be really recent or anything. Anyways, and also I do know about the Before Watchmen prequel series that DC's about to release. I really don't care, so I might touch on that with a full Watchmen review video soon, maybe not, but I really don't care about Watchmen at all. I did read the graphic novel, but I just don't care. But let's get to the comics this week. Again, I want to point out I'm not sick, but I do have problems with my allergies, so my eyes might be a little watery, or my nose might be stopped up, and I might have to blow it or something. Anyways, back to comic reviews. First of all, for Marvel, Avengers Academy number 25. The whole hybrid fight and Reptile future mind swap ends here, because what happens is during their fight with Hybrid, Reptile is able to get control of his body back, break from Hybrid's control. However, though, when he runs into Finesse, but he tells her he doesn't want her to fight because he's from the future. He tells her that he's from the future and they have a daughter together, and he doesn't want that future affected. But Finesse tells him that she doesn't care. She can live with herself if she let her friends die. So she's going ahead to fight, and that makes Reptile go in contact and try to help save the day he can in the present. But meanwhile, when he tries to contact with Stryker with the future version of Stryker, Stryker tells him that the timeline is in flux right now, and and the only way they can fix this is if they send the present Reptile, back to his own timeline. And so they release present-day Reptile, and he learns that he did have a daughter with Finesse, but apparently now they're divorced, and her short-term memory has gotten really bad, where she doesn't even remember her own daughter anymore, which is very sad. But the reason, and she didn't even want kids, but Reptile wanted one so bad that they eventually did have a daughter, but it didn't work out well for them. So then they all agree. So then the future Avengers Academy agree to send Reptile back, and right when they're doing the process of switching the minds back, adult Reptile does attack Hybrid, and during this whole state, there's actually two minds, so it makes it harder for Hybrid to control him. When he tries to use his powers, he's briefly knocked back for a bit. And both Reptiles, both in the present and the future, go into brief comas, though. But we know that present-day Reptile wakes up. Future Reptile, he doesn't, though. We're not sure if he survives or not. It's left ambiguous, but the main focus now switches back to the present. Reptile's fine. He's back in his regular body, and Hank Pym has figured out a way to defeat Hybrid. They basically rebuild the dimensional gateway that will send Hybrid to Limbo, and right when they almost get it open, though, Hybrid suddenly stops moving and he's surrounded by a cloud of gas. Then he gets shot into the portal into Limbo, and it's revealed that the gas that stopped Hybrid from moving was Vale. And Vale not only has Vale returned, but so has Jocasta. Apparently Jocasta, when her body was attacked, apparently she went into Vale. She was with Vale the entire time, and we still don't know why she faked her death, but Jocasta pretty much comes back, and now she says that she's accessed the data she's seen, and based on what she's seen, that she realizes that Avengers Academy is a mistake, and she and Vale are here to shut it down. So that's where this issue ends off. And It says next issue, though, everything about why Jocasta faked her death will be explained and stuff, but it was a nice little ending that still makes you want to read this book. I like Avengers Academy. Granted, with time travel thing, in this case, when time travel does get a little confusing. So we still don't know how it worked out in the future, in Reptile's future, but who knows? The future's always changing. So maybe that will be treated as an alternate timeline now, and not the main one, so to speak. But next issue we'll go into what happened to Jocasta and why she faked her death, and now why she wants to close down Avengers Academy. Okay, moving right along from Marvel, we got something good here. Amazing Spider-Man 679. Alright, the clock does reach 3:10 at the start of the issue, but nothing happens. Because apparently because upon closer examination of the watch that Peter Parker found in the wreckage of the Bad Tuesday future, apparently it does say 3:10, but apparently it meant 3:10 a.m., not p.m. So they now have, now pretty much, Spider-Man and Grady now have 12 extra hours to stop Bad Tuesday, and after Peter stops Silver Sable he helps Silver Sable stop the villain known as Flag Smasher, and he also helps her disarm a nuclear bomb. Even that doesn't change the future back. So Spider-Man still goes on patrol. He does a bunch of good deeds, and apparently the bad future still exists, which is strange. And then Peter gets a call from MJ asking if he wants to meet her up for some coffee and pie, and he's trying to avoid it because he needs to focus on this. And then she says, it's not like the world's going to end if you stop for coffee and pie. And so he changes back into Peter Parker, goes and meets MJ, and tells her he's stressed about this big thing that he can't exactly tell her, and she reminds him that his actions as Peter Parker are just as important as Spider-Man's. And that gets him thinking, and that puts an idea in Peter's head. So he heads back to Horizon as Peter Parker, goes and sees Grady and tells him to shut the time gate off, because apparently the doorway, since it's been on this entire time, is causing a hole in the space-time continuum, and that's what results into Bad Thursday. So it's getting closer to 3:10 a.m. Grady shuts down the gate, and right when they check their watches, it reaches 3:10 a.m. and the destroyed watch that Peter found in the Bad Tuesday future vanishes from existence. So they've saved the day, and Bad Tuesday has not happened. Yay. Alright, well, I like this. This was a nice interlude. I mean, the first part was a little confusing. Now this is just really... Okay, what's the right term? Wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey. There, that's how I'm going to describe this story. Both parts was wibbly-wobbly, timey-wimey. And there are a ton of Doctor Who references in this two-part story arc, which I loved. And, I don't know, it was just a fun sort of two-parter interlude. I mean, it's not anything that plays into the big picture, but it's just a short two-parter that's really fun to read. And I mean, if you haven't read Spider-Man in a while, and if Spider Island got you back into Spider-Man, I'd say keep reading it. And if you've read this, good for you. If not, I recommend you go find the previous issue of Amazing Spider-Man and this issue and read them both, and it will definitely explain a lot of things. I mean, if you can't deal with the whole time travel thing in two separate parts, then I recommend you go back and try reading. If you have 678 and 679, I would recommend reading them both at the same time, because that might make things flow a little clearer for you. But I don't know. Still, I read them about maybe 2 week apart, and I really understood it. But I read a lot of stuff, and watch a lot of stories that involve time travel, so I kind of can't wrap my head around it. If you're not a big time travel fan like me, then maybe this story isn't for you, but it's still a fun story, and I really am glad Dan Slott is still writing on Spider-Man. This is just really amazing. Alright, now for DC. And be warned, though, like Actually not like Amazing Spider-Man, because I was gonna say that this is sort of a filler story, and it kind of is, but it's still nice. However, the filler from DC, not so much. Here's a series that I recently started picking up after reading the first story arc, Animal Man, number 6. Alright, most of this issue is told as a movie that Buddy Baker did during his days as sort of like a superhero actor, stuntman. And it's basically about this sort of guy who's a superhero, but he's also kind of down on his luck and sort of a deadbeat dad in a way. But it's that's where most of the issue is. It's Buddy Baker in this movie, and later, but we don't get to see the full movie though. We just get like maybe a fourth or halfway through, and then it's revealed that that Buddy's son Cliff is watching this movie on his cell phone, and right when the movie cuts off, it says low battery. So Cliff turns off his phone, and then we cut to the Baker family in their RV saying that they need to find Swamp Thing in order to defeat the Rot, which is the main enemy of the Animal Man book. And I think, like my friend Dark Avengers CA6, Chris says, this book is tied into Swamp Thing, and it is because I noticed in the first story arc they make numerous references to the Swamp Thing book. So, I think he's right. It is tied into Swamp Thing, and there will be possibly an Animal Man Swamp Thing crossover. Why haven't I checked out Swamp Thing is because, I don't know, it just doesn't appeal to me. But Animal Man did, and I'm checking it out, and I did read the first story arc, but after that and reading this, it just feels like this is filler. I mean, I think showing the movie that Buddy was in was a good idea, but the fact that we didn't get to see the whole thing is disappointing. And then just get like 5 pages of just, okay, we need to find Swamp Thing. That's all. I mean, really, you can skip this issue if you want. I mean, you don't really need to read it to get the full Animal Man story. I mean, I recommend you read the first story arc from the first 5 issues. And if you don't want, and this is pretty much optional at this point. Number 6 is optional, but next issue is supposed to start a new story arc, so hopefully that will be better. Okay, time for something else that really got people pissed off with the filler. Action Comics number 6. The conclusion to the first filler arc of Action Comics, where apparently the anti-Superman army stole the kryptonite engine from Superman's ship. No, wait, kryptonite power source. Sorry, it's not the engine. Anyways, even though this story does take place around the same time as the pants and jeans and t-shirt Superman, the Superman from the present, armored Superman with the Legion of Superheroes arrive, sort of save the ship and make sure it still functions for Superman to find it, I guess. Anyways, what happens is after the army escapes, Saturn Girl discovers that the anti-Superman army has apparently shrunk themselves down into a microscopic lead capsule, which was launched into Superman's brain. Am I the only one who finds that a little ridiculous? I mean, try saying it out loud for a moment, then you'll see how ridiculous it is. All right, back to the story. The 3 Legion members, Lightning Lad, Saturn Girl, and Cosmic Boy it's Cosmic Man I think they said Cosmic Man in the book. Anyways, they use their time bubble to go into Superman's brain and find where the anti-Superman army is. They fight them, but in the process, though, the kryptonite power source that was taken is broken apart, and the shards are sent right into Superman's body. So that starts to kill him. And while Superman's trying to fight the kryptonite poisoning, he gets attacked by, the purple thing on the cover, which is revealed to be Titano. The original, apparently Titano was a human that gained some sort of evolutionary powers, and now he can shift his form into any evolution of the human form, I guess. And anyways, it's trying to stop Superman from trying to attack Superman and stop him, but Superman manages to make it to the ship, and the ship keeps broadcasting that it's failing, it's gonna shut down soon, and then Superman manages to get to the ship, and here's something that was really cool. Superman was able to use the green K radiation from his body in order to power the ship, which the ship fires a beam at Titano, and I guess that's what keeps Titano in his gorilla form that we saw in Superman number 5. Superman's able to use some of the green K radiation in his body to power the ship, which stops Titano, and then the Legion is able to stop the anti-Superman army, and as well as get enough of the kryptonite back so that they can put it in the ship, and the ship is fine, and basically the Legion goes off and takes the present day Superman and goes off to heal him, and that's where it ends. Also, like last issue, we get another backup story from Clark Kent's past. This time, though, it's when Clark is about to leave Smallville, and he's taking one last look at the Kent farm because he's giving the farm and the house to this other family he knew in Smallville that just lost their farm and their house, so he's helping them out by giving them his old house and his farm because he doesn't need it anymore since he's going to Metropolis. I still say, like at last issue, I say the backup is better than the main story. Sorry, I gotta say it. The backup is way better than the main story. I mean, also the first story arc that we saw in Action 1-4, that was a good story. Then we get cut off by this stupid crap involving the ship and the Legion, and I don't know. It was just ridiculous to have it right before the concluding part of the first story arc. I mean, that was lame, and I really couldn't enjoy. That was probably one of the reasons I didn't enjoy this. Another reason is just that it's too lame. All right. I should say this too, but also when Superman is going under the green K radiation, we also get flashbacks to his childhood and stuff, and they still kept. And apparently, the meeting of the 3 Legion founders meeting Superman as a little boy is still in continuity because they visit him. And apparently they give him a flight ring, but they say that he can't keep it. That's the only difference. Now, Superman did meet the Legion as a kid, but he doesn't have a flight ring anymore. And apparently that is the day that the title of this issue refers to. They say when Superman first began to fly, they meant when he had a flight ring. That's very misleading and really, really lame. But the backup is very nice. It's very emotional how Clark goes through makes like his final walkthrough through his childhood home, and he sees moments that he spent with his parents, which were very nice. And another thing I want to point out that does go into the whole another thing we learned about the Superman continuity in the New 52 is that apparently I think that Jonathan and Martha died at separate times because we see a shot where Jonathan is very sick, he's in bed, and he's telling Clark that no matter what, he must always use his powers to help people who are oppressed and be a symbol for good. I mean, that's probably where Jonathan passed away, and I think sometime after that, that's when Martha passed, or maybe she passed away before that. But anyways, I think both Jonathan and Martha passed away at different times. Anyways, that's my comic review for this week. Final rundown. Action Comics number 6. First part was just boring filler. Second, the backup story, very nice, is a very touching story about Clark as he's on his final day in Smallville. Animal Man number 6. This issue could have been better if we'd seen the full movie that Buddy Baker was in. Otherwise, you can just skip this issue. And Amazing Spider-Man 678. This was actually good filler, very entertaining. Love the Doctor Who references. I would definitely recommend picking this up. And Avengers Academy number 25. The whole reptile switching minds with his future self comes to an end, and apparently Jocasta faked her own death, and now she's getting ready to shut down Avengers Academy. Let's see what happens next. Anyways, that's my comic review for the week. That's all I have to say. Spider-Man 1991 saying, see you later.